My friends and I recently had a conversation about this common worry in people in their mid-20s that their frontal lobe is quote-unquote closing.
So there's like a lot of things that I want to do. Like I only know like English. I want to learn more than one language before I die. It's supposed to get harder after my frontal lobe closes.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's like another thing. It's like, am I running out of time to like become this type of person?
Like my mom like is Colombian and like speaks Spanish, but like we didn't really speak it in the house that much, so I like understand it well but like can't speak Spanish that well. But that's something that like I would ideally want to like pass down to my children and like preserve that language and like culture in like my family. But that's a lot harder if I'm not speaking it that well, and I feel like I'm like running out of time to like practice and get better to the extent where it's like I can actually share this with like my kids.
What Leah said about passing down a language really resonated with me. The other day, I found myself struggling with my Shanghainese while hanging out with my grandma at the pool, and I had this sudden feeling of panic that I was losing the language that felt part of my identity. I thought about my frontal lobe closing. So what does it mean when our frontal lobe closes? Research has shown that after 25, our cognitive agility starts to deteriorate. Some of the things easier in adolescent age, like language acquisition and picking up a new skill, become harder in adulthood. But on the other hand, the prefrontal cortex is where our executive decision making takes place. We become better at controlling our impulses and can make more strategic long-term decisions.
Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but the pipeline I was in was like suburban high school to college to career. At least for me, it was like very like academically focused and kind of limited my time.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I never even really thought about what I could explore.
And now it's like, oh, these things can actually just be for you, and like you don't have to be good at it because you're not using it as like a tool to like get like I feel like there's like a lot of freedom being like, I am bad at this and it is fun and it does not matter that I suck.
Oh, I still feel like I have to be good at it.
Even though I know it's a very hard thing to unpack.
Because we've been like wired to like
to feel like I have to be like excelling in everything that I do.
I think this is like the cruel little sick twist. It's like I feel like we're released into the world like if you follow like the like I guess like the path that I did, which is like, you know, like you go to college and then you graduate and you have a career. It's like 22 to 23, you're like out in the world. And I think that just gives you enough time to have a crisis of like, oh my God, there's so many things I want to do and learn. And then, then it's like, you until 25. It's close. I feel like it just leads into like this bigger conversation about like how youth is valued in society and how it really does feel like you have to set up your entire foundation by the time you're 30 or you're never going to become the person you want to be.
Which is crazy because that's not even half your life. Yeah. My first job out of college was a lot of like, how the fuck did I end up here? What is this? There is a lot of pressure of like, okay, like take opportunities as it comes, but like what will that like set me up for next? And like what path am I going down where you can't see the end? You have to make choices kind of blindly.
When you're younger, change happens so often and you don't even really have a choice. Like you change schools, you move, you start new jobs. So it's like there's a lot more room for like flexibility. So I guess changing is like easier.
Yeah. I mean, your sense of self is like constantly changing at that time period because it's like the way you like map your identity as like a little kid is like I like the color blue and I like horses and I like reading.
And next year you don't like horses.
And next year your favorite color is purple, and that's a huge part of your identity.
Yeah.
And like it's a lot of like superficial things that change really quickly, and I think when you get older it's like less superficial things that are more like your core values.
It'd be nice to say no matter what age you are, you can very easily change your life at any point. And hate to say this, I don't know if that's true. I think it's still possible, but I think you have to be very intentional and like change it. Like be like very intentional in your actions and like recognizing what parts of your life you want to change and work towards and like do it. And I think that's the difference between the rapid changes that happen when you're younger and the changes that happen when you're older. Is like when you're younger, it comes with the territory.
Yes. I don't know if it's my like prefrontal cortex talking right now, but I think it's honestly good that we need to take more time to like make decisions. It's like, okay, it was easy for me to like change careers that I wanted to do in high school in my mind, but like I should probably think about it before like I quit my like job that I worked so hard for and then like move to a different country. Like it's like I'm glad my prefrontal cortex is doing that for me.
Yeah, like it's protecting you. That's why people are so like fascinated by youth, is like because they like miss the like variety of different opportunities before them.
I don't know. I think a lot of people end up in their lives by accident. And then when they realize that, they're like, oh, I'm here. Can I even change at this point? And that's what's scary. I think that's like the core of why, because like legitimately when we first started, I brought it up as a joke, like the frontal lobe thing, but it did freak me out because I'm like, yeah, like I think at the core of it is like I can sense that like my opportunities are closing, and that's freaky. Okay, if we are putting a positive spin on it, I am glad that like I am more settled into myself and I have at least like some concrete direction in life. But at the same time, that brings stress and anxiety because it's like I don't want that to be all that I can be eventually.
We didn't find a solution to our anxieties that day, but we all left the conversation feeling relieved that we weren't alone. We just have to keep telling ourselves, the frontal lobe isn't closing. We can choose to close it and say it's too late to change, or we can choose to keep it open and still be open to change and learning new things.